Hare Ram, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
हरे कृष्णा। पुनीत प्रभु एंड माता जी, आप लोगों का फेस हाँ अभी ठीक है। जय। So thank you so much everyone. I would like to request everyone to switch on their video if possible, so that we can have at least each other's darshan. And yeah, we are missing physical association today, and but yeah, we'll meet again maybe next week or next week definitely, right? Those who are here at least for Siksha ceremony, please come. Okay, so let's start without delay our passage of discussion today. Very nice passage today. So, okay, who would like to start?
Yes, Prabhuji. If no one knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how can he be known? He can be known when the Supreme Lord comes before you and reveals himself to you. Then you can know. Our senses are imperfect and they cannot realize the Supreme Truth. When you adopt a submissive attitude and chant, realization begins from the tongue. To eat and to vibrate sound in the business of the tongue. If you can control your tongue for prasadam, spiritual food, and make the sound vibration of the holy name, then by surrender of the tongue, you can control all the other senses. If you cannot control your tongue, you cannot control your senses. Taste prasadam and become spiritually advanced. You can have this process at your home. Offer vegetarian foods to Krishna. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra and offer obeisances. Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu. Next.
I will read, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone can offer and then take the food with friends and chant before the picture of Krishna and lead a pure life. Just see the result. The whole world will become Vaikuntha, where there is no anxiety. All is anxious with us because we have accepted this material life. Just the opposite is so in the spiritual world. No one, however, knows how to get out of the material concept. Taking an intoxicant doesn't help. The same anxieties are there when you are finished being drunk. If you want to be free and want life eternal with bliss and knowledge, take to Krishna. No one can know God, but there is this way, the process of Krishna consciousness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that no one can conquer him or approach him, but he becomes conquered. How? Let people remain in their own positions, but let them give up nonsense speculation through volumes of books. Thousands of books are printed and read, and after 6 months thrown away. This way and that, how can you know the Supreme? By speculation on the information supplied by your blunt senses. Give up research, throw it away, just become submissive. Acknowledge that you are limited and subordinate to material nature and to God. No one can be equal to or greater than God. So be submissive. Try to hear about the glories of the Supreme Lord from authorized sources.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, someone else can continue.
I can repeat.
Yes, Prabhu.
Such authority is handed over by disciplic succession. If we can understand by the same authority as Arjuna, that is real authority, God is always ready to reveal. You just become Krishna conscious. Follow the path traversed by the great Acharyas, the devoted teachers, and then everything will be known. Although he is unconquerable and unknowable, he can be known in your home. If you take to this process and follow the principles, what will be the result? As soon as you understand, you will know that the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, but that he is not caused by any other cause, and he is the master of all planets. This is not accepting blindly. God has given you the power of reason, the power of arguing, but don't argue falsely. If you want to know the transcendental science, you must surrender. Surrender to authority and know him by signs. Don't surrender to a fool or a rascal. Find one who is coming in disciplic succession, one who is fully convinced about the supreme absolute truth. If you find such a person, surrender and try to please him, serve him and question him. Surrender unto him is surrender to God. Question to learn, not to waste time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji, you can continue.
Yeah, Prabhuji. The process is there, but if we waste time by intoxication, we will never see him. The unconquerable Lord. Follow the principles and slowly but surely, without doubt, you will know. Yes, I'm making progress, you will say. And it is very easy and you can execute it and be in a happy mood. Study, take part with music, eat prasadam, and no one can cheat you by this process. But if you want to be cheated, go to the cheaters. Try to understand it from the authoritative sources and apply it in your life. Amongst the dying mortals, you will become the most intelligent because you are freed from sinful actions. If you act only for Krishna, then you are freed from all reactions. You will have no anxiety over what is auspicious or inauspicious because you will be in touch with the most auspicious. This is the process. Ultimately, we can get in touch with Krishna. Life will be successful. Anyone can adopt it because it is very simple. Krishna consciousness, the topmost yoga system. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So I like this line. But if you want to be cheated, go to the cheaters. Okay. So people wants to be cheated actually. That's why they want some shortcut or something, some cheating business. Anyway, so first of all, thank you, Mohit Prabhu and Shobha Mataji, for making yourself free for this session. I mean, you were out, but still you could able to come. Thank you so much. So yeah, one point which strikes your mind or which was given in the passage, very nice. I mean, Prabhupada has given full Krishna consciousness actually in this passage, how we should follow, how we should proceed. But whatever one thing you like that strikes your mind, please share. Yes.
Yeah, Prabhuji, out of all the senses, the tongue is very important, or it's very. We have to control the tongue uh, by with chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra or eating the prasad. So, I mean, we should be very careful how to control the tongue, which is very important. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Puneet Prabhu, Anna Mataji, Shobha Mataji, Mohit Prabhu, Sandhya Mataji, Amrita Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think in this passage, it's very, very well said about the importance of tongue. I think once we have control over the tongue, everything will be under control. Like we'll chant holy name by tongue, we'll have prasadam using our tongue, and we can control our entire body.
So what Prabhupada has, suggested or gave the solution for this to control the tongue.
Chant the holy name and have prasadam.
Yeah. So before having, how we will get the prasadam? First, we have to
offer to Lord. Yes, and then have it.
Yeah. So Prabhupada has given the offering strategy also in this, right? That mantra also he gave, and the process. Abhiday. Right. This is called Abhiday. How we should do, what activities we should do in the devotion. Right? Yes. And anyone else?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Like to add? Yes, Prabhu.
So I think one line, like you said, if you want to be cheated, go to cheaters. So actually, I personally experienced this. So there are a lot of sessions. Sometime in the past, like I think 2-3 years back. So I used to attend this session, that is spirituality. This is spirituality, and at the I mean, end of the session, they will always tell you that, okay, this session is coming up, this is the fees, and that is the fees. And so they are, always in the business, I mean, making money. So, but yeah, when, soon I understood that. So, but yeah, so some, and I mean, somehow or, other, I understood, but yeah, that's very well said here. So I practically experienced this. So thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing your practical experience. Yes. Anybody would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just to add, wonderfully explained by Puneet Prabhu and Avinash Prabhuji, just that all of the senses, including tongue, including mind, all of them are material in nature, right? And covered it with all of these material covering. And still, Krishna is making himself available through his holy name. And basically, because our senses are imperfect, we are not able to perceive the glories of holy name or even Krishna. But simply by taking prasadam, which is, like we always like tasty food, but here it's prasadam, which is the mercy of God, but just by having it and just by chanting, because it's just vibration of the tongue and listening the holy name, very easily the same material senses which can't do anything, it can't perceive the Krishna, it can't perceive the glories of the holy name, still all the benefit will be given to us. So Krishna is so merciful. Like the same senses, not capable of doing anything, use it in the right way as instructed by Prabhupada and instructed by Acharyas, and all the benefit will be given to us. That's the best like thing which I like from the passage.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing. I always remember this sentence from Sudhir Gopal Prabhu. Last time also, when we were in physical session, present personally. So at the end, Prabhu said, Prabhu ke sakshat darshan. So prasadam is what? Prabhu ke sakshat darshan. Very nice. Right. So we can just read this thing. This is what given in the Bhakti Rasamat Srindu, which is translated in English by Prabhupada as a nectar of devotion. Very, very nice book and very recommended, very important book, this nectar of devotion, has all the aspects of devotion. And in that, this shloka comes and also mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'll just recite this, very, very beautiful verse and very relevant for our passage discussion. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya sevan mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spurtiyada. Right, so this is what even Sudhir Gopal Prabhu also mentioned. Many quoted this shloka many times. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi. Therefore, material na bhavet graham indriya. So in the passage, Prabhupada is saying we can't perceive from our senses, right? The Krishna Nam Adi. We can't perceive from our blunt senses, our material senses. Huh? What we can't perceive Krishna Nam Adi. Adi means Nam, Roop, Gun, and Leela. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, quality, and pastime. Right? When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the Lord's holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's food stuff. So, what is the process? We can't perceive the Lord's name, form, qualities, pastime with our blunt senses. This is the way. What is the way? Sevan mukhehi jivado. With jeev, with tongue, what we should do? We should use that tongue for the chanting of the Lord's holy name, right? And tasting the remnants of the Lord's food. Then the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. So very, very important actually. Tongue is the voracious senses. I mean, very everything comes, everything is related to the tongue. If we can control the tongue, we can control everything. Every other senses we can control with, because whatever we do, whatever we, trying in our this life, we are doing for eating. Right? We are trying to enjoy, or we are trying to satisfy our this senses, basically the tongue. We wanted to have a nice food stuff, sometimes costly food stuff, costly or a restaurant or something, right? But whatever that is uh, for pleasure, or this tongue, because our tongue is looking for something, some new thing, some new taste or whatever, right? Mind is mind is playing us that and saying that, yeah, go for this, eat this, that, right? So that thing. So that's why tongue is very much important to control. We'll able to control the tongue, we can control our mind, our senses, other senses. And also our health will also be controlled, right? If we'll eat the prasadam only and eat the sattvic food only. So, and tongue means basically the tongue has two work only, right? Eating and speaking, right? Anything we wanted to speak, we wanted to say something, right? We wanted to just blah blah blah. And if we'll get chance, we just wanted to chit chat whole day. So how we can control this, both the things, is very, very nicely Prabhupada has explained here, and even in this verse also, right? So those both the only two functions of tongue, and only two ways of controlling those functions. First is to have prasadam, right? So that our tongue will be satisfied with all the taste, whatever. Because see, it's like, it's very easy, it's very simple also. You wanted to taste something, some khatta meetha or whatever. So what we have to do is we have to just prepare it with love and devotion, offer to the Lord, and just have it. If you wanted to have some spicy or something, but yeah, but in sattvic, spice should be little less. It should not be very spicy. So, but we have to prepare it, we have to offer it, just have it. So by that process, it's very simple and very easy, right? We are satisfying the Lord also, and we are satisfying our tongue also with the remnants of the food stuff, right? So this is one thing we can control. And then next thing is, we wanted to say something, we wanted to chat, right? So what we should chat? We should chat about Lord's pastime, about Lord's holy name. Every time, everywhere, wherever we are sitting, we are going, or we are discussing, we are meeting people, we should try to spread Krishna consciousness. We should try to say something about the Mahamantra. Or first, we should try to imbibe in ourselves that we wanted to chant as much as possible. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and wanted to spread this holy name to all others. So whenever, whatever we are, like today we are hearing something, maybe tomorrow you'll hear from Prabhupada one lecture. So same lecture, you just explain or just to say whatever you like, whatever you read somewhere in a Prabhupada's book, or whatever you are hearing from Prabhupada's book, Prabhupada's lecture. Whatever you can memorize, you can recall it, you can just share with your spouse or your parents or your friends, whoever is interested, whoever is favorable, you can just speak to them. So that's how we will also able to recall, and we will also able to control our senses over this tongue, right? We wanted to say something, just to speak about God, Lord, about Krishna, and that way we can control this. So this is the first part of the passage, right? Which is very important. So I just spent some time. Any question or comment or anything you would like to add, please feel free to add.
Prabhuji, we also use that mantra, Namo, this whatever, Namo Brahmana Devaya. Along with that, we also,
Namo Mahavadanyaya.
yes, Prabhuji, that one also, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, Namo Mahavadanyaya. First, before that, first start with the Prabhupada Pranam Mantra only, right? And Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Namo Mahavadanyaya, which is for Mahaprabhu's, right? Pranam Mantra for Mahaprabhu or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then we pranam or pay our obeisances to the Krishna. Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya. Right. So this is basically the pranam mantra for Lord Krishna. So
Prabhuji,
step by step we go. I mean, first approach to the spiritual master, and then Prabhupada, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Krishna. Like that. Yes, Mataji, yours.
yeah, Prabhuji, I have one question. That Bhoga offering mantra, right? That we should chant 3 times or 1 time, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, 3 times.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, all the 3 mantras, like Prabhupada Pranam mantra 3 times. Both 2 strangers are there, no? So both together, and 3 times, and then next Namo Mahavadanyaya Namo Devala 3 times, and then Namo Brahmana Go Devaya Go Brahmana 3 times, and then Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, that is also we can say 3 times, and then Hare Krishna mantra 3 times. So like that.
Similarly, for honoring mantra also 3 times.
Mataji, honoring Prasadam, we can say 1 time.
1 time.
Yeah, that is Mahaprasade Govinde. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one time. We can
Okay. Thank you.
While offering 3 times, we should chant.
Okay.
And we should also meditate. Means we should pray basically to the Prabhupada. We don't directly pray to the Lord that please accept. We pray to our spiritual master or Srila Prabhupada. If we have a spiritual master, we can pray to the spiritual master, or we can pray to the Prabhupada right now. That Prabhupada, please accept the bhoga for the Lordship, and Prabhupada will accept and he will offer to the Lord from on our behalf. Like that. Any other question, comment? Okay, so we'll move to the next part of the passage. So what is there in the next passage, right? So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that no one can conquer him or approach him, but he becomes conquered. How? The Lord, we can't, right? Atha Krishna Nama, the same, we can't perceive Lord, but how we can perceive? So we can perceive the Lord by his devotees, right? We can get the feeling or get the mercy of the Lord by the mercy of the Acharyas. And how we should approach the Acharya is given in the 434, but before that, I'll just read this. This is also very nice. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:60, 34, 6th canto, 16th chapter and 34th shloka. This is from Chitraketu Maharaj. He is saying this. Just read the translation. Chitraketu said, O unconquerable Lord, although you cannot be conquered by anyone, you are certainly conquered by devotees who have control of the mind and senses. They can keep you under their control because you are causelessly merciful to devotees who desire no material profit from you. Indeed, you give yourself to them, and because of this, you also have full control over your devotees, right? So this is also very nice translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, that Lord is unconquerable, right? But how we can, or who has conquered the Lord? His devotees, but not ordinary devotees, right? Who have controlled the mind and senses, right? So Prabhupada is giving example of the gopis in the purport. You can read that. So nice way to approach the Lord is through his devotees. Basically, in our passage, if you'll see, who has controlled the mind and senses means the bona fide Acharya. Right? We should not go to the cheaters. They won't understand the Lord and they won't able to control the Lord, or even Lord is not merciful to them, and they are not able to uh, pass on that mercy to the other devotees, other people, right? We have to approach to the bona fide Acharya, right? And then only we can get the mercy of the Lord. Mercy first will get the mercy of the spiritual master or Acharya, then will through his mercy will get the mercy of the Lord. And this is how we should approach the bona fide Acharya. This is the shloka in the Bhagavad Gita 434. Very important and very very nice shloka. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya dakshate te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquiring from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen that truth. Right? Very important. We should try to approach first of all the bona fide spiritual master. And what we should do, we should inquire from him submissively. But before submissively inquiring, what we should do, we should render some service unto him. Right? We should try to first find out the spiritual master and try to render the service to him, and then ask submissively. In the passage, Prabhupada has mentioned, we should ask, but we should not ask to prove anything. What Prabhupada is saying in the passage, here. We should not accept blindly, but God knows the transcendent. God has given you the power of reason, the power of arguing, but don't argue falsely. If you want to know the transcendental science, you must surrender to authority and know him by science. Right? Don't surrender to a fool or rascal. So basically here, I just wanted to say that we should not argue. We should ask the question, but in the submissive way, not in the argument way. Right? Or not to prove someone or the Acharya wrong. We should try to clear our doubt, but not to make him down or something like that. Right? So that is very important. We should be always in the humble mode and in the surrender mode. Trinadapi sunichena taro api sahishana amanina mandena kirtaniya sadahari. Right? In that humble state of mind only we can do kirtaniya sadahari. So this is very important, right? So any question or comment or anything would like to share here at this point? Mahit Prabhu, Shabhamata, you want to add something? I want to hear from you something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, just want to add some more things here. One is, as long as we are connected with the material world, we have a lot of anxiety. And the moment we are out of that material world, that anxiety goes away, and our mind is so blissful and so so concentrated towards the bhakti of the Lord that we get most of the things automatically. That's my personal experience. I was very arrogant in nature. Couple of years back, I was very anxious. I was not able to take decision. I was very confused. By joining the spiritual community and the blessings of all you people, I think the controlling of the mind and the anxiety portion, which is very much important to control the senses, because as long as you are silent and you are peaceful, you can think more thoroughly and you can take the action more smartly rather than having a lot of anxiety within you. So that is the only thing, like material world is having a lot of anxiety, and the spiritual world is quite opposite to it. And we should have to have, Krishna in our mind 24/7, and it should be 65 days throughout the every moment. We should feel that he is within us, and we should be with him. That's the trust one should have. Then only we can progress in the path of bhakti.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderfully sharing your experience. Yeah, this is one thing, right? What Prabhuji is sharing, that we were anxious, angry, बात पे मतलब गुस्सा आ जाता था or whatever, right? But before coming to Krishna consciousness, and when we are in Krishna consciousness, we understood the things, and yeah, right, we are able to control our this anger. Even with me also, I was also very, not very peaceful, or not very this able to control the anger, or gussa aa jata tha, whatever. So choti badi baat pe. So those things, even I also feel, I also experience. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And yeah, this is very nice. This way we can also please our family members, and they are also seeing this change, right? And they feel good. They are doing something nice. Yesterday only I was in one of my college friends' family, and because yesterday was so much rain, we went out for some work, but could not do because of so much rain. So we thought, okay, we'll give them Journey of Self-Discovery book. They came sometime back, and we wanted to give them this book. So we thought, okay, yesterday only we'll go and we'll give Journey of Self-Discovery book. At least they will start something. Or whenever we speak to, means we meet them, we try to speak about Krishna or something about the spiritual life. So yesterday, I feel they are well-to-do family. It's not like, both are working, my friend and his wife, and both friends are actually my, both husband and wife, both are my friend, common friend. So, but yeah, they were not at all looking like happy couple, or even family. Everyone was there because they are bereft of this holy name, or not into the spiritual path. They are doing nice in the material, but and they're trying, and they're showcasing that they are not anxious. They are very much happy. But I feel very negative energy, or this thing that, yeah, still there is something we can do. I was praying for them that at least they should also get it into that, and they should also feel some bliss, some peace, at least peace of mind. So very much needed this Krishna consciousness. That's why Prabhupada is saying that it is it is urgency, basically. It's our need of the hour, right? It's urgency. It's not like ki optional hai, ya theek hai karna hai to karo. Nahi, it's urgency. Krishna consciousness is urgency. That's what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said to Prabhupada. When Prabhupada has said that we are not independent. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ko instruct kiye ki you go in the West and preach. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said that we are not freedom nation. Who will speak or who will listen to us? So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur kya kehte hain? What he said, that Krishna consciousness is has no barrier, or is nothing to do with these material conditions, right? Krishna consciousness is free from all these conditions. It will spread, and it will go on, right? And it must spread. I should right. So we should try our level best to serve people, pray for them, and spread this Krishna. Sandhya Mataji, you want like to say something?
Prabhuji, I regarding the point, why should we be submissive or feel humble or whom should we be submissive? That point I wanted to add 3 examples, wherein one example where Arjuna totally in the battlefield surrendered to Krishna with that humble nature, or in the court when Draupadi was tried to be done Vivastra. So at that point in how she lifted her hands and raised for all the help from the Supreme Lord, or the story of Gajendra where he submitted himself towards the Lord. So that sort of, Lord, I cannot handle it anymore, please take care of me, that sort of surrendering nature is very important. And of course, Acharyas are the right people to guide us. So we should be submissive to our Acharyas, listen to them attentively, and we should not have that ahankara that yes, I have learned it. No matter how much ever we progress, there is far more to progress in Krishna consciousness, and we should keep that humility and humble nature all the time.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji, for wonderful examples. Actually, yeah. This example of Arjuna, we know, right? 2.7 shlok. He surrenders, right? And what is that shloka? I'm not able to recall. 2.7 is very nice shloka, and where Arjuna is saying to Krishna, nothing is in my hand, so just please take it over. Right? Karpanya dosha pratha. Right? Thank you, Prabhuji. So, right? Pashyami tvam dharma sammod cheta. Yashreha shani shritam bhuitam. Shishyaste mam shadi mam tvam prapannam. Surrender unto you, Lord Krishna. I am confused about my duties and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Very nice. So this is the mood we should also try to imbibe, right? As Arjuna's mood, and Mataji has also gave example of Draupadi and Gajendra, right? So Draupadi is also, she was trying to hold first one hand to her sari and trying to call, but no, nothing was happening. When she surrendered completely, right? Both hands up. That's why we are doing like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Sometimes people ask why you are doing this. I mean, ऐसे भी बोल सकते हो, ऐसे भी बोल सकते हो, right? But this is what called surrender, full surrender. When you're raising your hands, Lord, nothing is happening with me. Please save me, like that. Right? So like that, even when we are, you see, if some drowning person means somebody is drowning in the sea or a river, right? He has to at least raise his hand. Then only he will be saved, right? Somebody can see his hand and then can pull. Otherwise, see, hand is going up of this also. So even if you are inside, means water is still here, your hand will be visible, right? So this is the thing. That's why we should do every time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lord, please save me. And how we can approach the Lord, Mataji has also said very nicely that, yeah, we should approach the spiritual master or Acharya. Right? So Srila Prabhupada ko, we should just say that, please Prabhupada, save us. Okay, so very nice discussion, very nice discussion today, and very nice points came up by the devotees. Thank you so much for participating very nicely. Anything else I missed? Kuntal Prabhu, you would like to summarize once? I'll just share the...
Sure, Prabhuji.
Then we'll move to the shloka.
Sure.
So yeah, revision is very much important. Our tendency is to forget. That's why. Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So basically, nicely summarized by everybody, all devotees assembled here, but we'll just go quickly. So as a continuation from the last week's passage, there was a word which we wanted to have a clarity, that is Acharya. Basically, it's a teacher of Vedic knowledge, the one who teaches us the essence of the Vedic knowledge, and not just teaches, but he himself lives by those teachings, is basically the Acharya. And the knowledge is coming to us through the guru disciple succession, so Vedic parampara, and it is coming down to us, and these are the personal representatives of the Vedic knowledge, all acharyas in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, Vaishnav Gaudiya Sampradaya. So the title itself says be intelligent and follow the acharya. So when we say be intelligent, it is explained in Bhagavad Gita 4.18. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among the men, and he is transcendental. He is in the transcendental pollution, and although engages in all sort of activity. So basically, it means that we are acting not in a karmic way, that is, we are receiving the actions of our reactions and all. Basically, we are doing it in a karma stage, which is nothing but there is action, but there is no reaction to it. It means bhakti, because all of our activities, which are devotional in nature, we are performing them, be it our job, be it our taking care of the family's needs and all of the we are doing, keeping Krishna at the center, and hence all of the activities become transcendental. So those are akarma. It means there are no reactions to those actions, since these are offered to Lord. Further, basically in Chaitanya Charitamrita 7.73, basically it says we need to follow the footsteps of our Acharya, the path that they have shown us to. So basically they have given us the regulative principles which needs to be followed. So if one adheres to these regulative principles under the order of Acharya, spiritual master, he is easily achieve the ultimate goal of life. So person who is addicted, like the instruction is to chant the holy name. So we need to take that opportunity to serve Lord and through the chanting of the holy names, and we will get an opportunity to further serve the Lord directly. Also, Deepak Prabhuji mentioned about Bhagavad Gita 4.34. So basically, we need to approach spiritual master, but the approach should be first that we need to render service onto him, and also inquire submissively and not in a challenging way. Mataji nicely has mentioned about some of the examples of Gajendra and Draupadi. So basically, there are a lot of examples here, like Sanatan Goswami inquiring Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was in Puri. Arjuna again submissively asking in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, like Prabhuji mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, like 2.7, he just narrated. And again, there are so many other examples where even in Srimad Bhagavatam itself starts with the inquiry of Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadev Goswami. So we also understood, like Jiva, we are the individual souls. We always are in anxiety. Like even Mohit Prabhuji also mentioned about having always feeling of that anxiety. And all of us, basically, not just him, all of us are in anxiety because we have accepted this material form of life. So this Kuntha means anxiety, and Vaikunta, where we want to go, Vaikunta, that is Krishna's Dham. It means a place where there is no anxiety. So that Vaikunta itself means no anxiety. So there where we want to go, and we are in the material world, so we are in basically Vaikunta. Hence, we are in always in state of anxiety. But here also in this material world, we can have that experience if we associate ourselves with Krishna's holy names, pastimes, and his leelas and pastimes and form. If we just chant and remember that, itself is a Vaikunta in our heart. We also mentioned briefly about Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is Madhya Leela 17.136. That is nothing but from Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.234. So basically, our material senses, we can't actually appreciate what is the glory of the holy name, form, pastime, Krishna's quality. But basically, we can use our tongue just to chant and then use our tongue to get a prasadam, which is the remnants of Lord, and it will be purified. Our tongue will be purified and gradually will come to a level of understanding who Krishna really is and who is and our relationship with him. And lastly, in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.16.34, Chitraketu has mentioned about the one who is unconquerable, that's the Lord, and he can be still conquered by his loving devotee. How? Through his love. And before to express our love, we need to control our senses. Our senses as in, like starting with tongue, because it's one of the difficult senses, and mind. But how we need to control it? By engaging in the service of Krishna and Guru first, and through Guru, Krishna. So basically by chanting and taking Krishna Prasad. So with that, we'll conclude this particular passage summary. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So let's move to the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Puneet Prabhu, 2.25, you will want to summarize?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, sorry, 3.25. I'll just show. You can start, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. So here in this verse, Krishna is saying that as the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without the attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path. Srila Prabhupada also explains here, like Krishna consciousness person does not do anything which is not conducive to the development of Krishna consciousness. So means he may even act exactly like the ignorant person, like who is attached to material activities, but one is engaged in such activities for the satisfaction of his sense gratification. But just as opposed to this one, the Krishna consciousness person is engaged only for the satisfaction of Krishna. So yeah, so this is the summary.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So 27, Mataji, Sandhya Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can I read the shloka as well?
Yes, Mataji, okay.
प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशा अहङ्कारा विमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते. So the translation is, the bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities which is actually carried out by the nature. So the in conclusion or the summary of this purport would be, if you take two people, one person in a material platform and another person in the Krishna consciousness, a person who is there in Krishna consciousness very well knows that the doer of the activities is not him but the Supreme Lord. So the super soul in him helps him out for the deeds. But whoever is in material platform will not be aware of this and will be thinking in false ego and pride that he himself is the doer of all the activities.
Thank you, Mataji. It's very nice shloka and very important shloka also. We should try to memorize this. So thank you, Mataji, for reciting shloka also. So I think we don't have all the devotees opted for this, but 31, Amrita Mataji, you can
Yes,
summarize, and then Avinash Prabhu will summarize all the shlokas. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. So in this verse, Krishna is saying the persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and instructions and follow the teaching faithfully without any envy become free from the bondage of karma.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So Avinash Prabhu, you would like to summarize all the shlokas? Before that, I would like to request everyone, to participate in this shloka. Choose one shloka, whichever you like to summarize. We have to just say 2 or 3 lines only, whatever, basically in the summary, those shlokas. Generally, we don't get time for this, but today we have time at least. And the idea is basically we should try to hear shloka a day daily. Right? That's why for all the week we are sharing the shloka, and then we are trying to summarize it. Avinash Prabhu, you can quickly summarize all the shlokas. Then.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving me the opportunity on this. Basically, the slokas from 3.20 to 3.30 or 35, it tells about the nature of a completely self-realized person. So a self-realized person does not have any obligation to perform his karma or duty, but however he has to do his prescribed duty only to set an example before the general public, so that they will follow the path as done by the self-realized person. Okay, so what I have done is I have taken the important purports from Srila Prabhupada, whatever he has written. So I think this is what we have done, what I have put in the slide of each of the slokas.
Yes, you can read too. Nice to hear from Prabhupada's purport only.
Yes, Prabhu. So in 3.25, we can understand that a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not conducive to development of Krishna consciousness. He may even act exactly like the ignorant person who too much attached to the material activities, but one is engaged in such activity for the satisfaction of his sense gratification, whereas the other one is engaged for the satisfaction of Krishna. This is the difference in the behavior of a person who is in Krishna consciousness and the person who is in material consciousness. Okay, in sloka 3.26, all rituals, all performance of sacrifices and everything that is put into the Vedas, including all the direction of material activities, are meant for understanding Krishna, who is the ultimate goal of life. But because the conditioned soul do not know anything beyond sense gratification, they study the Vedas at the end. But through fructitive activities and sense gratification regulated by the Vedic rituals, one is gradually elevated to the Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a realized soul in Krishna consciousness state of mind should not disturb others in their activities or understanding, but he should act by showing how the results of all work can be dedicated to the service of Krishna. In sloka 3.27, Srila Prabhupada says that the person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego, that is that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of body is produced by the material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person is in false ego, takes all credit of doing everything independently, and that is the symptom of his nescience. This makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, in 3.28, Prabhupada says, the knower of absolute truth is convinced of his awkward position in the material association. He knows that he is part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and this is his position should not be, and his position should not be in the material creation. In his pure state of existence, he is meant to devote his activities in the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to the activities of the material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. In 3.29, he explains that person who are knowledgeable falsely identify with gross material consciousness and are full of material designations. Ignorant men think of the body as the self. They accept bodily connections with other as kinsmanship. The land in which the body is obtained is their object of worship, and they consider the formality of religious rituals to be ends in themselves. Social work, nationalism, altruism are some of the activities done by this materially designated person. Under the spell of such designations, they are always busy in material field. For them, the spiritual realization is a myth, so they are not interested. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord Himself because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risk, even to the point of approaching an ignorant man to try to engage them in the act of Krishna consciousness, which is absolutely necessary for the human beings. 3.30 the Lord instructs that one has to become fully Krishna consciousness to discharge the duties, as if in a military discipline. Such an injunction may make things little difficult. Nevertheless, duty must be carried out, which depends with dependence on Krishna, because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. The living entity cannot be happy independent of the independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitutional position of the living entity is to become subordinate to the desires of the Lord. One has to realize that nothing in the world belongs to any individual person, but they but that everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. That is the real purport of my, or unto me. And when one acts in the Krishna consciousness, certainly he does not claim proprietorship over anything. The consciousness is called nirmama, or nothing is mine. The last one, 3.31, as the Vedas are eternal, so this truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. One should have firm faith in his injunction without envying the Lord. An ordinary man with firm faith in the eternal injunction of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunction of the Lord, but because one is not resentful to of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat or hopelessness, he surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Last line is very important, I think. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunction of the Lord, but because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. Very nice, right? Prabhupada is explaining and giving hope for all of us that we are just practicing Krishna consciousness, like practicing devotees. But we should not be resentful, and we should just stick to this process. We should sincerely, without considering the defeat or hopelessness, we should just sincerely practice or just follow whatever Prabhupada has given. And we will promote it to the stage of pure consciousness, right? Pure Krishna consciousness. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Very nice discussion today, and we could able to do the Bhagavad Gita shlokas also after a long time, I think. So, yeah. Anything? Anybody would like to comment or say something?
Yes, Prabhuji. One thing, today's passage of discussion, there is a link to what we discussed in the slokas. So in material life, many people think that they are proprietor of everything. Actually, that makes the person more prone to anxiety and away from Krishna. When they think they are important, then they cannot they cannot keep be in the Krishna consciousness state of mind. So this is what this is one thing which I wanted to share, that we should not be in a state in which we think that we are the proprietor of everything and we are the controller. Rather, we should dependent on Krishna. Just perform your duty without any attachment to the results.
Amazing takeaway, Prabhuji. Thanks for reiterating that. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes,
Krishna
Prabhuji, thank you.
Mataji.
It is very important actually, and that is the root cause of all anxiety. Today we were discussing about the same thing in different form, different flavor, different examples, but nicely Prabhuji has summarized, and takeaway thing is this, like, yeah, even in the shlokas also the same thing, right? We should not feel that proprietorship on anything, and right, even our body is also our and not ours. That is also given by the Lord. Right? We should try to use that body in the service of the Lord. There is very nice shloka in Bhagavatam, Save Mana Krishna Padar Vindayo, Vacham Sivaikuntha Gunanuvarnane, Karo Harer Mandir Marjana Deshu, Shrutim Chakar Sat Achyuta Sat Kathodaya. Means there are three set of shlokas. These are the prayers or the not prayers, basically the activities in these three shlokas is the activity of Amrish Maharaj is explained. And Amrish Maharaj is the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, and he's explaining this from his example, how we can use everything, all the senses in the service of the Krishna. Right? So we'll discuss this sometimes, and I think also in our previous passages, this shloka as a reference came. I think we have discussed also some part of that, but yeah, I mean, this is very nice shloka, so we can meditate, how we can use our hands to clean the temple, our legs to go to the temple or our bhakti center, right? And how we can use our eyes to have the darshan of the Lord, beautiful form of the Lord, and how we can our tongue, we have already discussed in very detail today, right? And our nose, means all the senses, right? Today we have more focused on the tongue senses, but in this shloka, what I was just saying, it has all the senses, how we can be occupied with the Krishna conscious activity is explained very nicely. So very nice. Thank you so much everyone for nicely participating in today's discussion. I know, I mean, Mohit Prabhu, Sandhya Mataji ke liye this is repeatable, these passages, but definitely your experience matters here. So whatever we are sharing is very valuable for all of us. Right? Thank you. Yes, Puneet Prabhu, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in summary slide, so Kuntal Prabhuji, somewhere I think it is mentioned action in inaction and inaction in action. So can we discuss maybe when we have some time next week or some time, or I mean somewhere it came like bhakti.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to understand more on. So maybe today, if the time allows, for 2 minutes, or maybe later.
Kuntal Prabhu, if you want to summarize in 1 or 2 minutes.
Sure, Prabhuji. Let me. Do you want to bring it up, Prabhuji?
Okay, fine. Yeah. This is slide.
I'll try to do my best, but Deepak Prabhu can like add if I'm missing anything. Okay, it's in presentation mode. So basically, in Bhagavad Gita 4.18, it is mentioned about one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. So let's take first part, inaction in action. So basically, we are doing an action, but the bhav is inaction, as in it is a karma. So we are doing the action without having a reaction to it. So let's take an example. A grahastha can exhibit this particular form if he is detached from that particular action and he is doing everything in the service of Lord. Be it he is doing his professional job, be he is doing his activities to fulfill the things which are required to maintain his family. He is doing the action, but it is centered around Krishna. So basically, he is seeing inaction in action. Okay, that's the bhav. So he having renunciation internally. He is detached with the fruits of those activities, and everything is offered to Krishna. Now take the second one, which is action in inaction. One could have saffron robes and he might say that, okay, I'm renunciate. Okay, I'm not having any attachment to any worldly activities. He is talking about Krishna. He is speaking about the scriptures. He is quoting them like an expert. However, internally he is not detached. He is having some sort of a attachment to something. Maybe even even if he is having the attachment to his robes, then it's an attachment basically. So nowadays in this worldly pleasures, we have got so many sadhus who can simply are fake. They show externally that they are actually doing inaction, but actually they are having attachment all to the worldly pleasures. Okay, so that is where we say action in inaction. So a person who is intelligent enough that he can distinguish between these two things, inaction in action and action in inaction, such a person is situated transcendentally, and hence all of his activities are transcendental in nature, because he sees Krishna at the center and he perform all his activities and offer those activities to Krishna. Like Abhinav Prabhu mentioned, he is not proprietor of anything, he is detached and he is doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Although externally you may see that he is doing all the activities just like any other householder. I hope I am able to explain it, but Deepak Prabhu can add maybe more like realization to it.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It is so much clear, crystal clear now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kantal Prabhu, and thank you, Puneet Prabhu, for asking nice question. So yeah, this I hope this Prabhuji has explained very nicely and it clears everything. So let's move to the Narsimha Pranam and then we'll conclude for the today. So Amrita Mataji would like to say,
Yes.
sing Narsimha Pranam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, we'll just project. You'll recite Ugram Viram also or from
No, from here only.
Okay.
I'll start, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Lada Daine. Prahlada Lada Daine. Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha. Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha. Silatankanakalaye, Silatankanakalaye, Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha, Ito Narsimha, Parato Narsimha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha, Bahir Narsimha, Rudaye Narsimha, Bahir Narsimha, Rudaye Narsimha, Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapade, Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapade, Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakasipo Tanu Vringam Kesavadhita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakasipo Tanu Vringam Kesavadhita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Nasimha Dev Jaya Nasimha Dev Jaya Nasimha Dev Jaya Nasimha Dev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev
श्री श्री विघ्न विनाश नरसिंह देव भगवान की जय। भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you so much, everyone. So we'll just return to the main room and then we'll end the session. Hope to meet you all in person next week on Sunday morning session 8:30 sharp. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
प्रभु जी शाम को भी होगा उस संडे, नेक्स्ट संडे?
हाँ प्रभु, शाम का भी क्लियर नहीं है, मतलब डिटेल आया नहीं है प्रोग्राम का। सो मे बी पानीहाटी फेस्टिवल का प्रोग्राम इवनिंग में हो या क्लब कर देंगे शिक्षा सेरेमनी के साथ, तो वो कभी पता नहीं है। बट यहाँ मॉर्निंग में भी भागवतम सेशन तो रहेगा ही। स्पेशल भागवतम सेशन है, कोई स्पेशल स्पीकर आएंगे, तो डोंट मिस द भागवतम सेशन आल्सो इन द मॉर्निंग एंड देन फॉलोड बाय द शिक्षा सेरेमनी एंड प्रसादम। इवनिंग का जैसे आता है नेक्स्ट संडे का तो बताते हैं। एंड या दैट एकादशी आल्सो यू कैन प्लान, दोस हु कैन do in Nirjala or whatever way, right? So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Senior
Yes. Right.
Prabhu, you are muted. Deepak Prabhu, you are muted.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone. So hope everyone came back from the breakout room. Sarnath Prabhu came very early, and Chandan Prabhu. So Prasad Prabhu is also here. Okay, so nice. Nice discussion in our Bhakti restaurant today. Hope everyone has also nice time today and get to know many things from Prabhupada, full Krishna consciousness, how we should proceed, how we should follow a very nicely, very simple way, right? Prabhupada has given in this passage today. Okay, so let's hope to meet most of you next week, next Sunday, in morning Bhagavatam session and then in the Siksha ceremony. With this, let's pause here for today's discussion and let's meet next week in person. Okay. And anything anybody would like to say something I missed or anything? Chandan Prabhu, Sarnath Prabhu.
No, thank you, Prabhuji. I think yes.
Anand Prabhu or Prasad Prabhu, anything you would like to add?
No, Prabhuji. I wish I had more members are all remote. So few members from Bangalore, so I will try to invite them to BBC.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Then for joining.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.